Casey Given, the political columnist with the Daily Californian, and today I'm sitting down with Jonathan Stein, the Student Regent-Designate for the University of California Board of Regents. So great to sit down with you today, Jonathan.
Thanks.
I guess my first question is, it seems like you have a lot on your slate. Not only are you the Student Regent-Designate, but you're also pursuing both Masters in Public Policy and a law degree from Berkeley. So yeah. I guess I'll just kick it off with a lighthearted question. How do you manage your schedule?
I don't. I guess that's probably the best answer. Yeah. It's an enormous challenge, and I'd be lying if I didn't admit that the job has enacted a cost in terms of my academics, the amount of time I see my family, the amount of time I see friends, but it's enabled me to have a huge diversity of experiences that I would never have had otherwise, and develop skills that I'd never developed otherwise. So there's a sort of a counterbalance to those costs. But you manage your schedule by doing a lot less of the things you used to do, I guess.
Yeah. To quickly go on to campus climate, I'm sure as a law student, you know that sometimes lawyers worry that certain addresses or policy solutions to campus climate or reducing hate, etc., can compromise First Amendment rights. How do you think that we can address, the microaggressions, etc., on campus without violating students' First Amendment rights? For example, like the college Republicans' right to hold
sale.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so the First Amendment rights are hugely essential and really important on a college campus where you want to encourage the free exchange of ideas, right? I mean, this is a place constructed so that people get exposed to new ideas and to different ways of thinking. That said, right, if you have certain actions taking place on campus that have the power to make other students feel unwelcome, then you're in effect, you're silencing voices in other people's free speech. So what I would suggest is, or what I would argue, is not that you prohibit a bake sale, but that you make sure that the students who feel threatened by a bake sale have their own venues to speak out, and that we invest resources as a community into creating spaces for those students to come together, for them to educate, to empower themselves and educate, their classmates in their communities, and provide them with venues so that when the college Republicans have a bake sale here, they can be present in force and make themselves heard and make themselves seen. So, I would in no way suggest that a bake sale, while I disagreed with it, was sort of out of bounds. It's part of the culture and the community of our campus.
What do you think of the Occupy movement or Occupy Cal recently? Do you think, there's been some clashes with the police, etc. Do you think that that is a safe, a good, healthy movement, or do you think that some of their mechanisms of protest are kind of drawing the line?
The students who take a non-Occupy approach, the students who put on a suit and work with the administration, the students who go lobby the regents or whatever, are better served because Occupy exists, right? Because you have students who are showing up in the hundreds or the thousands and making life difficult for decision makers and applying pressure on people, and I will also say, generating headlines. I've been on dozens and dozens of lobby visits in my life, and in every single one of them, the media didn't give one hoot. One time we got press attention for a lobby visit. Now I've been on 50 or 60 of these things. But when there's a massive protest, and believe me, I don't just do the lobbying, I'm at all of these massive protests, but the massive protests generate front page headlines. And the California public is learning about the crisis in public higher education because of things like Occupy, because of the protests, and because of these mass actions undertaken by students. So it's my view, I've said this before, I'll say it again, the students in the tents help the students in suits, and the students in suits help the students in tents. And if we're going to be effective as a student movement, we need everybody doing their best in whatever way they want to get active.
Excellent. Well, I think with that, I'll end it there. Thank you very much, Jonathan. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah.
And with the Daily Californian, this is Casey Given. Thanks a lot.